Right, so today we're going to be working through our photoresistor, our analog input for this. What this is going to do is this is going to detect a range um, of resistance, and it's going to light up based off that range. So it's similar to the potentiometer. The potentiometer is a manual input. This is a light input. So the more light you receive, the brighter that should be. The less light you receive, the brighter, the dimmer it should be. Yep. So we're going to check this. We're going to look at our code. Okay, so set sensor value, read analog pin 0. Okay, so A0, that's the representative. So pin serial monitor. So sensor value, so it's going to post it with a new line. We're going to set pin 9 to map. So we're mapping the sensor value to the range in between this. Okay, so what that's going to do is that's going to set it to a range in between those. And then it's going to wait 0.1 seconds, so a tenth of a second. Okay, so let's look at that in text. Okay, so we're looking at this. Our integer value for our set sensor value needs to be initialized up here with integer. And then we have our variable name, and then we have it equal to 0. We have our pin mode, so this is reading input. Okay, serial begins, so that's going to read for our serial monitor. Our pin mode 9 output, that's our output, that's going to our LED. Then our void loop, sensor value analog read in, so that's reading it. It's taking input in from the sensor, we're reading the value from there. We're printing the sensor value, and then it's mapping the sensor value in between. It's taking its value 0 to 1023, and it's mapping it in between based off of a range there, and it's waiting 100 milliseconds in order to update again. Okay, so we're going to turn it on, and we're going to see a little light comes out right there. That's because it's mapping it. Currently, right now, it's 0, and I'm wondering if 0 has an issue with it. Okay, but we're going to slowly move it up, and you can see that it got brighter. If we do go to code, we'll actually stop that. We'll change it to blocks. So then we can shrink that down and go here so we can actually see the number that's being outputted. So right now it's 26. So it's not actually all the way over there for some reason. It's still reading a value. So it's simulating that there is still light presence there. It's not in a perfectly 100% dark room. And as we move up, it's mapping that 923, so not 100% bright. Okay. All the way down. Okay. So this one should be pretty interesting once when we go to make it in real life. We should be able to dynamically change that LED up and down. And I'll try to make sure that this room's a little darker when we go to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to recreate this on our own. Okay. So we're going to go here. We're going to go find our Arduino board. Drag that out. Drag out that. We're going to need a couple resistors. We're going to need our LED. And then, of course, we're going to need our photoresistor. Okay. Okay. So everything else is wires. So what we're going to do is we're going to ground this. So we're going to pick out our ground and go to ground. Oh. Well, that's ugly. Set that to black. Set our power to red. I'm not going to worry about that backside over there. And we're going to bring our first resistor over. This is going to go for our photo cell. And then our second resistor is going to be for our LED. Okay, so we're going to match that. That should be 220 ohm. And this is 4.7 kilo ohm. Okay. So let's change this and we'll go 220. We're going to go 4.70. Okay. We're going to bring up our photoresistor. Okay. And you'll notice we are reading a line coming back down. And we're going to place it into 0. Okay. We're going to supply power. So we're going to make sure that's red. And we already have ground coming back, okay? Yep. So we're going to make sure to drag our LED over. And we're going to make sure this positive side gets the positive wire. Make sure that's it. Okay. Oh, not to power. This should go to, I think it's 9 is what they have it set as. Okay. That's returning power back to the ground. That's returning back. So this should be all set up and ready to go. Okay, so now we're looking at the code. If you want to get a screenshot of this, we're going to make sure that it's big on there for a handful of seconds. Okay. So the next step is we're going to click code. We're going to make sure we're on the second Arduino board that's in there. We're going to drag our basic stuff off. Okay. And the first thing that it walks through is we're going to click on variables, or we're going to create a variable. Sensor value. Okay. Store the resistance value of the photo, so that we got that. So now we're going to drag out the set block. Okay. We're going to store the state of our photoresistor value in a variable set sensor value. Okay. We're going to click on the input category. Okay. And we're going to drag out an analog read pin and place it into the set block after the word to. Okay. So read analog pin. We're going to drop that into that circle right there. It should pop in. Okay. Since our potentiometer is connected to the Arduino in pin 0, we need to change that. So it says potentiometer. It's really a photoresistor. Okay. Someone didn't pay attention and change that. Okay, our output category, and drag it to a print to serial monitor. So we're going to go output, print to serial monitor. Okay. Usually you'll have a comment in there. Okay, so comments give description about what's happening. Okay. And so we're going to print out the variable. So we're going to know the value in between, okay? So print with a new line. So what the new line means is that every time it takes a reading, it's going to do a new row down below. Okay, and since we want to write to the LED with the number between 0 and 255, okay? Full brightness is 0. We'll use the map block to do that. Okay. So I believe map. Okay, so we're going to end up mapping. Okay. Okay, so let's go back up and see what we have our block to. So we're doing it within our set pin, and we're setting that pin out. Okay. So I missed that step. So we're going to go set pin. We're changing that to 9. Nope. Yeah. Yeah, we want that one. Okay. So the reason why we want this one is this is going to give us a variable. It's going to give us an analog out. Okay. And instead of just a on or off. Now we're going to go to the map. And then we're going to go bring in our sensor value to range 0 to 255. Okay. Okay. So since we want to write to the LED is going to have a 255, which is full bright, to 0, which is off. And we want to map those two signals together. Okay. So the first block should be 0. Second block should be 255. And then back in the output, we want to set the set pin block, which says set pin 3 to 0, and adjust it back to 9. So that's what we already did right there. Okay. So we're going to drag the map block to what we made earlier into set pin, and we're going to set blocks field to write the number to the LED using the PWM. Okay. So click the control. So that's what we dropped in right there. Okay. So then we're going to click the control category and we're going to drag out a wait block. So we're going to wait. Now I usually do milliseconds, and we do 100. Okay. Okay. And that should be our code. Okay. So in order to see this, we're going to drag that over. Okay. So this is going to be our text. It's going to show us our setup and walkthrough for it. We should be all set up and ready to go. Okay. So if we start this, we should see our variable adjusting up and down. Okay. So that's the build for this. For your guys' challenge, what I'd want to see is how does the LED bulb react if you put a higher resistor in there? And what is the reaction that happens? Okay, more resistance versus less resistance, because we can go all the way down to a 100 resistance all the way up to 1K. Okay, so for your guys' project, go ahead and run through and check that out. Okay. So we're changing the resistance here, seeing what happens if there's a discernible difference in between the difference of a 100 resistance versus 1000 resistance and variables in between. Okay. That's what I got for you guys today. I hope this lesson works out well for you guys. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.